Actually, Olympics are one of the most important international events to CCTV.
For those without an air ticket to London, the Olympics will be brought back to China via TV and internet feeds. At the top of the old CCTV building, Jiang Heping, controller of CCTV Sports, explained to me how the coverage of the London Olympics would be different to that of Beijing.
Of course, the London Olympics cannot compete against the Beijing Olympics. Beijing Olympics, for the Chinese people, they are the home Olympic Games. We are the hosts. We have to play as the host. So that's the big difference. And another difference is the time difference. In Beijing, we have no time difference, 0 time difference. But for London, 7 hours. For the London Games, we have to stay late at night till the early morning of the next day.
For CCTV5, the Olympics is by far the biggest sporting event they cover, and although they can't hope to compete with viewing numbers gained at the Beijing Games, they are still expecting 325 million people to tune in every day to the 4 CCTV channels dedicated to coverage, as well as a new website with live feeds from the various venues. The first time the Olympics was live broadcast was in London in 1948, when the BBC set up cameras from a handful of events and successfully beamed the pictures to a limited local audience. I went to the BBC headquarters in London, where I met with Dave Gordon, head of major events coverage, and started by asking him about the progress the BBC had made with covering the Olympics since 1948.
48 was very important. I mean, the next big landmarks probably 60, 64, Rome, Tokyo, when pictures start to be beamed around the world live by using cable and then sort of satellite, and then Mexico onwards, live television. Those sort of landmarks, terribly, terribly important. Once you could move away from black and white television, once the sound became better defined, till we get to the sort of 70s where, you're able to take cameras, almost everywhere and get signals back. And then I think beyond that, it's the way we've been able to get up close and personal to sport. I mean, very much sport in the sort of 60s, 70s, one sort of stood back and watched it. The best seat in the house was the camera in the grandstand, and limited use of close-up cameras. But nowadays, you can have cameras almost everywhere. Some of the camera angles we have in diving now, where underwater cameras, plunge cameras, swimming and diving. I think we can just take our audiences far closer to the heart of the sporting action. And I think that's really, really sort of important now, because I think the audiences expect that. They want to be sat there on the edge of their sofa, but almost able to reach out and touch the sport.
Keen to break new barriers in 2012, the BBC are planning 3 new innovations to make watching the Olympics on screen more engaging than ever before. They'll have access to all the events live via interactive TV and the BBC website. They'll have 3D coverage of the opening and closing ceremonies and some of the events, and a series of screens around the UK showing super high definition.
I'm even more excited by super high vision. This, 16 times better than high definition, and I just think the pure quality of the pictures will be outstanding. I mean, those people have had the privilege to have seen some of the early experiments in super high vision. I mean, absolutely knocked out. I'm one of those. I mean, it just feels so real, the picture. You see every sort of blemish on somebody's face, every little wrinkle, on somebody's clothing. I mean, it's just the absolute sort of feel for the reality of it is just so impressive. In fact, I would argue it's better than 3D because the definition is so good.
Back in China, CCTV will be broadcasting 300 hours of 3D footage, as well as dedicating its HD channel exclusively to Olympic coverage. The CCTV website will make all 5,000 hours of live streams available, allowing each viewer to make their own viewing schedules of whatever interests them. Although Jiang Heping kept emphasizing the fact the Beijing Olympics was very special, he was optimistic that the enthusiasm for the London Games would still be high.
The Chinese people love the Olympics, and we also pay great attention to the Olympic coverage. I think in that sense, it's the same, and it will never change.
This is DJ Clark in London and Beijing for China Daily.